Hello! The audio is gonna be absolute dog shit because I'm just using the built-in camera microphone. So is probably the light. My face is pretty dark here, but I refuse to blast a strong light in my face while I sit here doing this. Anyway, about like 2 years ago or something, I made a video on how to create a dirty video mixer. This guy, to do little glitch things. Since then, I've had this vague idea in my head where I would take like one of these little CCTV cameras that you can get from like Amazon and AliExpress and power that off of a portable battery, and then take another of these little CCTV cameras and power that off the same battery, and then build those two cameras and the battery into some sort of case, and then internally in that case put all the cables and clicky switches to be able to switch between those two cameras that are gonna be in the same place. So essentially a dedicated camera with built-in glitch mechanics, I guess. So that's what I'm attempting to do here. I said this when I did a dirty video mixer. I don't know shit about fuck, so I have no idea what I'm doing, but I have managed to take the power cable for this camera and attach this little contact thing on it, and then the power cable for this camera, which is this cable right here, and essentially, so this is a whole mess, but this plug goes into the battery that I have, and then out here will power this camera, and the other plug here will power the other camera. So essentially I've made like a fucked up mess of cables here, but that makes it so that I can power both cameras at the same time. And I tried hooking them up to two different monitors and plugging in the battery, and it works. So I know now that I can power both cameras. So the next step now is to create the dirty video mixer circuitry just to see if it works. Then I went to a thrift store today looking for some sort of case, and I found this weird little metal box that I don't know if it's gonna be big enough, but I hope so. Here's the battery. So my idea is that there are gonna be two holes here for the two cameras, and then there's gonna be the two switches and a rotary knob. And I'm thinking I probably am gonna put those on top here, but I could also put them on the side here. I don't know, I could put them each on one side like that, click, 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 and the turny thing up here. I don't know, I'll figure that out when I get there. First I'm gonna put together the circuitry without putting it in the box, just to make sure that it works. And yeah, I feel like I'm in over my head. There's a lot of different things that I need to figure out, like I don't have really the right amount of RCA cables, and then I need to also mount the little external recorder. So yeah, I guess I didn't mention that. The idea is that the cameras and the battery and everything will go inside of here, and then the only thing that'll like come out of this will be a little 3.5 millimeter cable that'll go into an external recorder that I'll attach up here or back here with Velcro. I've already created version 1.0 of this with just one camera in this wooden box, but I didn't like the enclosure because it's rounded, whatever. I don't know if I'll be done with this tonight or if it'll take months of me putting it off and doing a little bit at a time. So I'm just gonna start doing stuff here, and I'll update you as the process go on. Cool, that's all the setup we need, I think. Let's get to it. Okay, it's been, I don't know how long, an hour, possibly two, probably not 2 hours. Hey baby, watch out for the soldering iron, it's hot, okay? I don't want you to get hurt. And here is the circuitry. It looks a little different from how it would usually look, because one of the cameras just has an RCA in, like a female RCA already. So I took an RCA cable and yeah, whatever, you probably get it. If you don't, that's fine. Baby, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need to move you. Yes, there we go. Don't want her to end up being burned or anything. Okay, so we're gonna test it. We're gonna see if it works. And if it works, you know, then at least we know the tech side is set up correctly, and then it's just a matter of trying to fit everything and like essentially redoing everything from scratch, but inside of a case. So I'm gonna put this screen here, turn that on. That's not the final screen I'd be using for this, by the way, but for now it works. And I'm gonna put a cable that goes into it, and now let's see here, this is such a mess. How am I planning this to work exactly? Yes, so this camera would be plugged into here, and this camera, which also has a female RCA. I don't know why that has confused me. Let's see if I have... I know I have at least one, but I might have to order another short RCA cable. For now we'll use this one that will go from this camera, the other camera, and start calling them camera 1 being the silver one and camera 2 being the small black one on the desk. So camera 1 will go in over here. Oh, come on, why doesn't this work now? Okay, for some reason that plug is a tight fit. That's a little worrying. Okay, so now camera 1 is plugged in. Camera 2 is plugged in. Just gonna place camera 1 here. Oh, it's a lot of cable. And camera 1 is already plugged in power-wise. And now I'm plugging in camera 2 into power. And then finally, all of this, Jesus, this is a mess, goes into this battery. And I pray to God that this works now. Because if it doesn't, I don't know how to fix it. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Make sure to get this in the right way. Black to black, red to red. Okay, you can see the screen here. You can. Okay, here goes nothing. Oh, I accidentally touched it. Well, okay, we've got one camera, got the feed from this camera, or we had the feed from that camera, it now died. We are getting some glitch artifacts when I turn the knob. Let me flick a switch here, still the same. How about this one? It's just blinking. There's always a risk that something is shorting out currently. What if I turn that one? So I am able to get this camera. Camera 2 doesn't seem to want to play. God damn it. Now why would that be a problem? I think right there might have been the feed for camera 2. That was a feed for that camera. Okay, so clearly I have some more tinkering to do. I don't know exactly what I'll do here. Maybe I'll just top... Oh, you know what? Before we move on here, let's do this. Let's connect the cameras the other way around, right? Like let's do camera 1 rather here. Let's do camera 2 into the first slot. Yeah, it is working. So it's just the second plug that doesn't want to play ball. When I do plug it in, I see the image kind of distorting a bit. I'm getting a lot of... Is that this camera? It is. But this is connected to port 2 now. Okay. I feel like there might be something shorting. I'm gonna double check the solder joints, I guess. And then we will try again. I don't even know how to like figure out what's possibly wrong here because... Oh. If I keep it completely still there. Okay, fuck it. I'll be back. Okay, I'm actually back again after only a couple of minutes because I realized I have the old dirty video mixer that we made in the last video. Meaning that if I just hook up the two cameras powered by this battery to that and it works, then it's just something with my circuitry. But if it has the same problem, then there might be something else going on. I don't know what. One thing at a time, but let's plug this in. Ah, there we go. Didn't we just have an image? So here we have an image. That's camera 1. Where is even camera 2 right now? It's on the floor. Yeah, okay, so it doesn't work here either. Well, then it isn't my circuit that there's something wrong with. Camera 1 working. Oh, camera 1 on camera 2. Now I am getting them both to work. Camera 1, camera 2. It's cutting out a lot, which has not happened when I've built these things before, but at least I am getting an image from both of them. Oh, this is confusing. This is so confusing. Let's try with my new setup once more. See if we can get to this point. Okay, everything's hooked up again. I'm sitting very still here. I've double checked. No like contacts or touching anything they shouldn't be touching. Actually, I don't think that's gonna do anything, but I'm snipping a little bit of something here. A little bit of solder. But I'm just thinking, what if that's grounding the video signal? I don't even know what that means, man. But it sounds good when I say it, like in a way that implies that I know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's plug in the power, because I need to leave. I need to go. Yeah, it is struggling. Currently, it's seemingly struggling to even display any of them. So that's different. Well, I guess I'm gonna leave for the thing I need to leave for, and then when I get back home or some other day, I'm gonna have to look over this entire circuit and make sure that everything is soldered on, double check this fucking schematic I printed out, the schematic I drew for the last video. I mean, the fact that I have like a functioning one inside of this box, at least an almost functional one, makes me want to like, what if I just take this? But I mean, if this works, this should work. But I'll have to get back to it, because my girlfriend is running a midnight marathon for some reason. Don't ask me. And I'm gonna go be a supportive partner and meet her at the finish line. even though I'm probably gonna be a little bit late. Okay, hopefully this footage doesn't just rot on some hard drive somewhere. Instead, hopefully, to be continued. Okay, it's been a couple of hours and I'm back. I'm about to go to bed, but before I do that, and while my partner is showering, she survived the race, by the way. Very proud of her. I desoldered this one cable, thought that could be the problem, and added a normal female RCA here, just like I did here and here. So now everything is hooked up except the battery isn't plugged in. So we're gonna try this again now, see if anything different happens. We immediately are getting picture from camera 2. Flipping one switch kind of seems to break everything. And now we're getting a picture from camera 1. Okay, so we might have been just suffering from a faulty cable here. That's very interesting. It's interesting how this is cutting out when the signal is kind of dying. My previous dirty video mixers have not done that. It's never cut out like this. I might have to look into the strength of this trim pot, to be honest. Well, this feels like one step in the right direction at least, even though it's not currently working very well. So I got that image, and by flicking both switches we're getting the other image, but I'm not able to kind of glitch between them, as it seems. Okay, now I am getting signal from both of them though, but I'm not able to turn it all the way over to the other one. Yes, I am, but it dies in the middle, right here in the sweet spot where it kind of glitches between the two. I'm not able to stay there. I wonder if there's a... The thing is, I'll be using another recorder as well, so it's hard to know if it's just the recorder being fussy, but it's never been fussy before, like it's never had a problem before, so... And I can't try with my other recorder because I need a specific cable for that. But it feels like I am getting somewhere. I am getting some sort of result here. I just really don't understand why it's being so fussy. I'm guessing it could be the battery, but I don't know what to do about that. Like, I don't know, would I need a stronger battery? Because now we're getting into territory of things that are way outside of the scope of what I'm knowledgeable about. Because I'm not even knowledgeable about what I'm doing so far. Oh, and I should look into the strength of this trim pot. Does it say on it? Oh, it says there, B1K. B1K. I mean, I'm guessing that's 1,000. I think someone left a comment on the last video about the strength of the trim pot, so I should probably look into that. Cool. I mean, not cool. I'm very disappointed that it didn't just work right off the bat, but to be continued. Okay, I couldn't hold back, and I realized that the signal dropping out might not be a problem on actual, analog, like a CRT TV. It might just be a fault of the digital recorder. So I've now got everything plugged into a TV. Let's plug in the battery and see if this works. Okay, so that's one camera. What happens if we flick a switch? We have the other camera. What happens if we turn the dial? Nothing in this configuration. Let's hop on over here. Turn the dial. Okay. Flick both switches. That's camera 2. I'll flick that switch. That's camera 1. So flick, this switch is just going between camera 1 and camera 2. And the other switch, when flicked, in this specific configuration, it actually works to like go between the two of them. And you probably can't see this very well, but it is significantly more fucked up than I've seen it be with the other when I've made these mixers before. So here I am switching between the two cameras. Too many things moving around here, probably cables touching together that shouldn't be touching. And now we've probably pretty much lost all signal here. But okay, well, I'm a bit more positive. What did I do now? Now it's just all kinds of broken. Well, I don't know what happened now. I might have shorted something. This is the fun. How about pulling the plug on the battery and connecting it back in? Still nothing? Okay, well, I got it to work for a little while, so that's good. Weird. There we had picture again for a little bit. Okay, now we got the one camera working, and we got the second camera working. And just flipping that switch. Oh, batteries are dying. Well, okay, I don't have much more to say right now anyway. To be continued again. There. It's the next day, and I ran some tests using the new circuit, this bundle that we created yesterday, and comparing it to, where the fuck is it? The old dirty video mixer. But what I've done today that's different from yesterday is that instead of using this whole mess with the CCTV cameras. I just used some completely separate sources, and as it turns out, I am getting the exact same result in the old one as in the new one. That result being it works totally fine. That's both good and bad news. It's good news because that everything is working as intended in this. I didn't waste my time yesterday. This is a completely fully working circuit. But it's bad news because that means there's probably something about like the battery and about this bundle of cables with the CCTV cameras and everything. There's something in there that's the problem. Maybe it just hit me right now. It might be that like one of these two cameras is like a PAL signal and one of them is an NTSC signal. Actually, I just realized that right now. I bet that's it. God damn it. Because I don't think I can change that on either of them. There's like no instruction manuals and no information available about these cameras, unfortunately, but that might be the problem. Either way, what I've decided to do is that since I know this circuit is working, I am gonna continue to install everything into the box, drill the holes, put all of this cableage inside as well as all of this cableage inside, so that the thing is like essentially done, except for the fact that it's not quite doing what I want it to do. Because I think from that point it'll be easier to just open it up, switch out the battery if it turns out to be that, switch out the camera if it turns out to be that's the problem. So that's what I'm gonna do. But first I have to go and record an SCP reading. I think there's an insect in the room. My cat is acting as if there's an insect in the room. I'm gonna go and record an SCP reading, so this is a little fun behind the scenes fact for those of you who follow my SCP channel. If you go back to, what date is it today? Today is Sunday, August 18, and I think we're currently about like 3 videos ahead. We release a video every week. So the video that comes out 3 weeks from now, maybe 2 weeks from now, something like that, it's gonna feature me in this shirt. And if you see that, then you know that's what I just went to record. What a fucking boring piece of trivia that is. But yeah, I'll get back to you on all of this. After I've recorded that, I think I'm gonna spend at least a couple of hours now just drilling and trying to, because I'm gonna have to resolder big parts of the circuit to make it fit in here, and we're gonna put some Velcro in there for the battery and try to find a good way to fit all these cables in there. Probably get out the glue gun. Yeah, but first an SCP recording. Be right back. Okay, so I don't know how much I've been editing out, and I've been kind of turning the camera on and off throughout the process. I don't even know what I filmed. All that to say, so I did put it together and it is kinda working, and instead of letting this become a project that takes me months and months, I thought I'd be finished here for now and then, you know, throw it over to you. So if you know about electronics, or if you know a person that is good with like electronics and technical shit like this, maybe you have an idea why it isn't quite working as intended. I believe it's that one or both of these cameras, but probably one of these cameras is in NTSC and the other one is in PAL, and that would explain why like I can get both to work, because I think this recorder that I'm using doesn't care if it's NTSC or PAL, but when you start to like glitch between them, it's just going absolutely nuts, and it's not doing that kind of like aesthetically pleasing glitching. So I'll throw up a clip right here of what I would like it to look like and how it usually looks when I use a dirty video mixer, and I'll put a clip here of how this looks currently. So that's the problem I have. If you know anything or know someone that knows something, leave a comment below. Remember to talk to me as if I was an idiot, because I am, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you start throwing a bunch of technical terms, and if you know, oh, all you need to do is regulate the flux capacitors to redirect the ground voltage with a regulator, then I'm not gonna know what that means. You're gonna have to dumb it down. But all that being said, it does kind of work. So here is the finished product with the 2 camera lenses in the front here. I mean, I had to tape this shut because otherwise the lock wasn't working anymore. But I used the keyhole to instead install a power switch. And out of a little hole down there comes out the video cable that goes into this recorder that you can also attach on the back if you prefer that. So you could either have it like that or have it like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start filming with this and you'll see kind of how it looks. So I'm gonna hit record. I was gonna say I need an SD card for this. Makes sense? I really hope this SD card is formatted correctly. It seems to be. I'm starting the recording here in 3, 2, 1, now. So I'm gonna plug this cable in and I'm gonna flick the power switch. So here we can see the image from one of the cameras. Now if I flick both of these switches at the same time, so some unexpected behavior here. Before I started filming, this was working just fine. Yeah, and as you can see here, when I glitch between them, it isn't quite the effect I'm looking for, and it's cutting out a lot. It's just going to black. I find it very interesting that it's like cutting off the image in half with this camera, because I was just in the kitchen showing my girlfriend and both cameras were working just fine. And now one of them just doesn't want to play at all. Again, seems like a PAL NTSC compatibility problem to me. Maybe it isn't. Maybe you have some better idea. But regardless, here it is. It is working on some degree. And when I have the switches set to the way I have them set right now, I have camera 1, and without having to flip anything, I can just twist this and it'll glitch in the middle and then land on camera 2. That's what we want. Camera 2 is this guy, and that seems to be the one that I'm having problems with. So I'm wondering either if that's PAL or if that's NTSC, and this one is the opposite. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a good way for me to know, but I'll see what I can find out. But if you have any other ideas of what it could be or what I should do, please feel free to let me know. And if you want to build this yourself, yeah, it's not that hard. It's surprisingly easy, just a lot of cables that needed to be split to be able to power both cameras from the same battery and to add a power switch and all of that. But yeah, I don't know shit about fuck, and I managed to do it, so if I could do it, so could probably you. All you need is a soldering iron, some lead, a few hours, and flux. Can't recommend using flux enough. I just started using flux when soldering, and I don't know why I didn't do that before. It makes literally everything so much easier. Enough of the ramble. Thank you for tuning in. Maybe, if I'm lucky, if you're lucky, if I have time, if I feel like it, version 3, this was version 2. Version 3 will be done at some point, and it'll be a fully functional glitch camera. That would be cool. But for now, maybe I'll just leave it as it is. We'll see. Bye bye. Okay, good that I didn't stop filming, because now... No way, it stops working when I record. Wait, if I stop recording and I switch between them, yeah, it totally works. Huh, let's see if I can show you this. Let me turn down the gain here. Now I'm not recording on the thing. You can see my face kind of there. I know it's overexposed and shit, but don't worry about it. And then I switch and the other camera works. See? And then I switch and it's the other camera. It does cut out for a second. And I think that's it adjusting between PAL and NTSC. And then if I hit record, now it's recording with this camera, and then when I switch over to the other one, it's got that line, now it's like locked. But interesting, this also means, because now the glitch is different, so I guess it kind of matters which camera I'm on when I start recording. If I hit start recording when I'm on one camera, it'll act in one way, and then if I start recording when I'm on the other camera, yeah, I'm learning a lot here, and this video is gonna be so long and rambly. Talk to you next time. Bye bye. I don't know how long it's been since I recorded the last part of this. I believe I ended that with thinking I was gonna post it, but I didn't end up doing that. Firstly, because I didn't have time to edit it, and second, because I kind of wanted to keep trying a little bit. So, to reiterate, and I don't know what I said before, I don't know how long it's been, I essentially have two theories. The first one is that the battery isn't strong enough to like power both cams at the same time. So when you turn the thing between them, it's just choking out the battery doesn't have enough juice, and that's why it kind of doesn't work. However, that wouldn't explain why for a while I could get like decent glitching between the cameras as long as I didn't hit record. I haven't always been able to recreate that though, and that might indicate that it's actually both of the possible problems, so I might solve one of them and then I find out that the other one is also true. Still though, because I was able to sometimes get it to act kinda like I wanted it to, I decided to go with the hypothesis that it was the PAL/NTSC thing that was fucking me up. So since then, a bunch of shit has happened. I ordered another camera and I got it, and it like kinda worked but also kinda didn't work. I still didn't know if that was a PAL camera or an NTSC camera. I still don't know which of the two cameras I already had is PAL and which one is NTSC, so I just kinda have to guess. But long story short, that latest camera I got didn't work. It had like those backup lines for using it in a car burnt into the image. Oh, and then I got yet another camera, whatever. It's been a lot. Anyway, today I got yet another one. I think this is like the fourth or the fifth one. This is the one that I've spent the most money on, that being the equivalent of like $30 I think I paid for this, so it's not very expensive. And here I don't know if that's focusing at all, doesn't really matter, but here he is. Now on one of the old cameras, let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah, so this one that I just dug out of the trash. But we kind of also have to look at, bring out the fucking snake nest here again. Right, I've taped it over so we won't be able to see it right now. What is this cable? It's not connected to anything. The point is, some of these cameras, they have two little wires that stick out like this. It's just like wire loops. And almost none of these cameras, since they come from like AliExpress, essentially. I get them from Amazon, but it's essentially AliExpress shit. So none of them really have a manual that explains what those do. But what I've found is that if you snip one of these off, it changes something with the camera. So for one of these in here, I don't remember which one, when you snip that cable, it puts the parking lights in there. And if you're then like, oh no, I don't want these parking lines, then you can just kind of twin them back together and it disappears. For another one, when you cut that thing, it mirrored the image. So for that one, I've actually added a little bit of a contraption here. So I can kind of turn this knob to mirror the image back and forth. And if you stop it in the middle, get some glitches. I don't know if that's gonna work. I don't even know if I'll keep that camera. But this was the only camera I could find that actually said on the listing, granted I don't know if it's true or not, what these little cables do. And on this specific camera, let me pull it up here. Yes, here. Let's see if we can get this on camera. You can see that it says that if you snip off the white cable, it'll do the backup graphic thing. But if you snip off the blue cable, it'll switch between PAL and NTSC. This should mean that I could pair this camera with either of my other ones. And if you're thinking, hey, most of these probably work the same, couldn't you have done that in one of the ones you had? Only, I think, one or two of them actually had those types of cables, and I tried. But like I said, it was just like one of them mirrored the image when you did it. And then it was this one that I got, which had the backup lines burnt in that I couldn't remove. You can't really see that, but I even opened it up and snipped off various cables inside of it, hoping that one of them, but no, I just broke it. So all that to say, this is kind of like the last ditch effort here. I'm gonna try installing this camera. I don't know which of the cameras I already have that I'll keep, but regardless, I'll make a decision as I go. I'm gonna try hooking this one up and we're gonna see if it works. And if it doesn't, then it's because the battery doesn't give enough juice. And if that's the thing, then I'm probably shelving this project for now. Man, I hope I explained in the beginning of this whole thing what the fucking idea for this project even is. But I probably did, hopefully I did. So yeah, now I'm gonna do that and you'll probably get a couple of little time-lapse shots and then we'll see if I succeeded or if I failed. Holy shit, this thing is a fucking mess. Okay, this is the most fuck-ass tilted angle, but it'll have to do. Quick, shitty soldering done. The video cable is connected, so now we're just gonna essentially see if it works at all, I guess. First test here. So we're gonna get the video cable in there. Make sure to turn this on. The one camera is in the box here, and the other camera I am holding here in my hand, currently pointed towards my face. Okay, so let's turn this thing on. Okay, right away we are getting picture. Maybe we should zoom you in. We are getting an image out of this one. Damn, it's like super fisheye. That's fun. I want the two cameras to have like very different aesthetics. So it's actually great that this one is so fisheye, because that's the one. What happens if I twist the knob? It cuts out. Okay. But it does kind of matter how you have the dials, I've noticed. So let's flick this one. This right here, this is the closest we've gotten to it actually working as intended so far. Okay, so now both switches are up, and then I can get this camera that I'm pointing a scissor at right now to kind of work as intended. And when both switches are in the other direction, this camera works as intended. Dude, this is the wackiest like lens distortion I've ever seen. Like, it's not just doing fisheye, it's like, or I mean it is, but holy shit, that's the craziest lens distortion I have seen in my life. And I use fisheye lenses all the time. What the fuck is this? How did they even accomplish this? Like, how wide is this? This is 180, this is basically 180 degrees. Like, look at this. Okay, when both switches are one direction, I do get one of them, and if I then turn the dial, so if both switches are up, I'll get one camera, and if both switches are down, I'll get the other camera. And if I turn the knob, it'll just kind of cut out. But if I switch one of them to the opposite direction, now it only got a bit darker. So let's turn the knob. Yeah, it's not quite behaving as intended here. It's not supposed to be cutting out this much. Let's try the opposite. Let's do that switch down and this switch up. Yo, look at that. This is like the closest we've gotten to it like actually working correctly. But the bummer is that it needs to kind of be, it's like a very specific position on the rotary dial. Interesting. This is kind of where you want it to be. Do I have an SD card in here? I do. So what happens if I start recording now? Nothing changes. That's a good sign. I think before it's always changed when I do that. So let's do this. Both switches up, and we have this camera working perfectly. Both switches down, and we have this camera working perfectly. Okay, that should mean that these are both in the same region now. So that's good. It's just a bit of a bummer that the fucking glitching isn't working as intended. Here's how I told you that I can mirror one of the cameras. This camera can be mirrored, and if you stop at the very, very middle of that, it's very hard to get exact, but I don't know. Now it's not working at all. There. Yeah, this is not behaving like it's supposed to. Nothing is working correctly anymore. There I got some of the glitches at least. Is it mirrored now? No, it's correct now. Okay, let's leave it like that then. Did it just flip? It did. Okay. So that basically means I got it working, but still not like perfectly, which is a bummer. And yeah, I think that's it. Everything basically works as it should, except that the glitching is constantly cutting out. And honestly, that's a bit above my pay grade. So the only thing left to do is to try and fit everything into the box. Biggest problem with that is that the new camera with the funny fisheye has the most insane amount of cableage. And this is just like one part of the cableage as well. It's nuts. And this box that I have already can't quite fit everything, so I'm definitely not going to be able to fit all of this in there, which makes me think that I would probably need a new case for this. I got this, little black metal case that I have here now, that I picked up from a thrift store, and it's really cool. I wish I could have fit everything in there, but it doesn't look like I'll be able to. So I might have to get another one, which is a bit of a bummer. But also, I gotta say, this extremely wacky fisheye lens, real strange sirens. This extremely wacky fisheye lens makes me essentially want to build this into its own thing, preferably like as small of an enclosure as possible, or at least where the lens is as small as possible, like kind of protruding out, because you can take off this like hat on it, so it's just this little box, and have it like stick out forward, so you can use it as like a probe camera, because you could get some really wacky shots with a lens that wide. But yeah, either I'll update this once again when I've found another box to include all of this in, or it'll never see the light of day, and in that case I'm just talking to myself. Yeah, okay, talk to you later. Either cut to another thing, or thanks for watching the video. Bye bye.